President Rodrigo Duterte approves a 1,000 peso increase in the Social Security System pension, half of the 2,000 increase proposed by legislators.
The President is not amenable to using taxpayers' money to fund pension increase since the SSS is a private pension fund. Its total assets are 487 billion as of October 2016, and its fund life is until 2042. Even with the 1,000 peso increase, the fund life will continue until 2040 by May 2017, when the contribution rate and increase in monthly salary credit is implemented.
SSS Chairman Amado Valdez says the initial 1,000 peso pension hike to be implemented this January will be followed by another 1,000 peso hike in 2022 or even earlier. But the pension hike will mean an increase in contributions of SSS members by 1.5% of their salary by May. Members are currently paying 11% of their salary as SSS contributions. The hike was proposed by Congress, but Finance Secretary Sonny Dominguez and Budget Secretary Benjamin Jokno lobbied against it. Duterte promised to approve the 2,000 peso SSS pension hike during the 2016 campaign after criticizing former President Benigno Aquino, who rejected it. The Supreme Court on Tuesday ordered Senator Laila de Lima to respond to a disbarment case against her. De Lima has 10 days to comment on the disbarment case for her alleged involvement in the state penitentiary narcotics trade and her relationship with former driver Ronnie Dayan. She is accused of gross immorality and of violating the lawyer's oath and the Code of Professional Responsibility. In recent years, De Lima has had disbarment cases filed against her. The latest case involved her alleged defiance of a temporary restraining order on a travel ban against former President Gloria Arroyo. The National Economic Development Authority says higher inflation in 2017, driven by higher oil and electricity rates and rising interest rates, will hurt consumer spending. Socioeconomic Planning Chief Ernesto Pernia says the full-year inflation for 2017 will, quote, likely be 3%. This is within the government's target range of 2 to 4%. Full-year inflation for 2016 was 1.8%, the lowest in 29 years. But Pernia downplays the higher inflation's effect on the country's economy, saying it won't significantly impact the gross domestic product growth. Did Foreign Secretary Perfecto Yasay Jr. lie when he declared he's always been a Filipino and had never been an American citizen? Questions about Yasay's citizenship surfaced with his confirmation pending before the Commission on Appointments. In November last year, Yasay stressed that he is Filipino.
I am a Filipino. I have always been a Filipino. And I have never been a U.S. citizen. I continue to be a Filipino. So that's the end of the story.
Did you ever own a U.S. passport?
I did not
sir?
own a U.S. passport. All right.
Under Philippine law, appointed public officials like Yasay cannot be a citizen of another country. At least 4 independent sources told Rappler Yasay used to own a U.S. passport. 2 U.S. government sources, speaking on condition of anonymity, separately confirmed to Rappler that Yasay used to be a U.S. citizen. In the Philippines, 2 other sources confirmed Yasay used to own a U.S. passport. Rappler found out he had a U.S. passport with number 121190223, which he supposedly used in travels from 2007 to 2009. At least 2 sources also say Yasay renounced his U.S. citizenship in 2009 before he ran for vice president in 2010 alongside presidential bet brother Eddie Villanueva. Philippine law requires candidates for public office to renounce any and all foreign citizenship. UFC President Dana White fires back at award-winning actress Meryl Streep after her comment about football and mixed martial arts during her Golden Globe speech. White calls the 67-year-old Streep, quote, an uppity 80-year-old lady. He says, quote, I'm not a big fan of golf. Doesn't mean people should stop watching it. If you don't like it, change the channel.
So Hollywood is crawling with outsiders and foreigners. And if we kick them all out, you'll have nothing to watch but football and mixed martial arts, which are not the arts.
Streep was commenting on United States President-elect Donald Trump's divisive election campaign, where he vowed to deport illegal immigrants and ban Muslims. White says MMA is a sport that boasts of diversity among its roster of fighters. He says, quote, she's not educated about the sport, and that was a completely uneducated comment.